Week 2, Sunday Night Football pits a couple of 2024 first-round draft pick quarterbacks against one another as Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons visit new golden boy, JJ McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. We'll talk about both of those QBs. We'll talk about what let the Falcons down in Week 1. We'll talk best bets for this game, and I'll tell you how you can turn $5 into $300 by doing basically nothing. Welcome to Oddshark. I am Ninja, and with me is old friend, Falcons superfan, senior editor over at SI, host of the Bacon Bets podcast, Iain MacMillan. And make sure you follow Ian on the road to 272 NFL bets. Now, Ian, are you cutting Younghoe Koo or nah?
Yeah, I think at this point you have to cut him, unfortunately. I like Younghoe Koo. This pains me to say. They did bring in, the name slipping me, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but they brought in someone on the practice squad this week to at least give him some competition. Maybe you give him one more chance, but I think like next field goal he misses, he's gone.
I watched a lot of the game. It was a tough loss in Week 1 for your boys. But on the plus side, you've got to be really happy with what you saw out of Penix in that game.
Yeah, it's tough to lose to the Buccaneers at home because that's a game that's going to come back to haunt us later in the season if we are trying to win the NFC South, obviously. But at the end of the day, I agree. I think most Falcons fans were going into this game thinking, listen, you saw Michael Penix for 3 starts last year. He looked good in those starts. We were excited about this guy in the offseason. Let's make sure that he kind of picks up where he left off. And if he can do that, because sure, even if this season doesn't go our way and we don't make the playoffs, finding a franchise quarterback is obviously the number one goal of every franchise. It's something that the Bears haven't been able to do for ever, literally. So I think Week 1 at least showed us that he picked up right where he left off. And yeah, maybe he doesn't, it could have gone worse. Maybe he's I don't want to say he's our franchise quarterback for sure yet. I don't want to get quite as cocky as Vikings fans are after one good quarter by JJ McCarthy. But it was certainly things got off on the right foot, and I think we're excited about that.
And you can see the confidence building. He looks like a pro-worthy quarterback there for that Falcons team. The weapons are there. I thought Kyle Pitts looked damn good on Sunday as well. So he's got the tools. It's going to be interesting to see how this season plays out for Penix and your Falcons. But going back to Sunday, do you chalk that loss up to maybe some bad play calling again on the sidelines, or just really bad luck, or what was it?
I think some of it had to do with actually the Falcons not playing starters in the preseason. I was concerned about that. It seems the NFL trend has kind of gone opposite, and now we saw a lot of teams play starters this preseason. Raheem Morris and the Falcons opted not to. So, especially with Michael Penix, a guy who's, second-year guy, only played 3 starts last year. Would have loved to see him get some preseason reps to kind of get going. We didn't see that, and I think that cost them a little bit. I think that led to the offensive play calling, especially early in the game, being a little bit conservative, a little bit cautious. And the offensive line sneakily did not play well at all. We couldn't run the ball, and Penix played well, but a lot of those throws are under pressure, which is good to see that he can, complete those passes while under pressure. But I prefer if he can be not under pressure. That might be a little bit more helpful as well. So I think there was some lack of preseason play, which led to rust, especially offensively in that game, which I think ultimately cost us.
Probably say that about a lot of teams that played in Week 1 as well. A lot of unders. We saw it look like some rusty football up and down the league in Week 1. So hopefully that gets ironed out here going into Week 2. Now, the nightcap on Week 1 was, of course, the Monday Nighter. Started out pretty poorly for JJ McCarthy, but absolutely took off in the fourth quarter to win that football game on the road against a division rival. You alluded to it a bit earlier, but what were your thoughts or your takes on that debut from JJ McCarthy?
Listen, JJ McCarthy, I have no issue with JJ McCarthy. Actually, good on him for bouncing back after that pick 6 to lead a fourth quarter comeback. My issue with the Vikings fans, and Ninja, you know this, and it is that every single year I find a fan base that I just become enemies with. Usually it takes a few weeks. It has taken 1 week this year for me to find out who my enemy is. This guy is a guy who no one really liked coming out of college when he was taken 10th overall. He wasn't a very overhyped quarterback. A lot of people thought number 10 overall was a little early to take JJ McCarthy. A lot of people felt that, like, Michigan was winning with the pieces around him, not necessarily because of him. This guy then got hurt in the preseason, last year, played 0 NFL snaps, and sometime between last year and this year, Vikings fans have gone from being like, I think we might have reached on him. I don't know if he's going to be a good quarterback for us, to now they're like praising him like he's the next Tom Brady, which is very confusing to me. I don't know what he did over 1 year without playing a single snap of football where all of a sudden he's God's gift to earth. He's the next Patrick Mahomes. And then he had 3 quarters, or really 2.5 quarters, of bad football to start things off last night. And then, he pulled things around and had a good quarter and a half, which is promising if you're a Vikings fan. But I just don't see why people are praising this. Like Vikings fans are all over social media, like dunking on anyone who said anything bad about JJ McCarthy. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here, guys. It was a good quarter and a half. You came back and barely beat the worst team in the NFC North. Let's relax. I need to see a lot more from JJ McCarthy before I'm willing to crown him like Vikings fans are, because more often than not, unfortunately, quarterback prospects don't work out. Just ask the Chicago Bears. So it's crazy to me that they're like, not even they're excited. It's even past confident. Like, they're like cocky and arrogant about JJ McCarthy being a future MVP. It's crazy to me, especially for a fan base who has suffered nothing but heartbreak and disappointment throughout the entire history of their franchise. You think they'd be a little bit more cautious about a quarterback prospect, but apparently not.
I'll get your pick in a minute here.
And with that, I'll be picking the Vikings. No, just kidding. I think you can probably guess which side I'm on.
Well, it's going to be interesting. And I will get your pick in a minute here, but was there anything, like any potential weaknesses you saw maybe from the Vikings on the whole in Monday Night Football that maybe plays into Atlanta's hands in week 2? Something that lines up favorably for your boys in that game?
JJ McCarthy just not being good? How about that? That's a weakness. I'm not sold on a quarter and a half of play. But no, other than that, I mean, I wasn't too impressed by the Vikings defense. I know they ended up kind of locking down the Bears there in the second half, but the first half, they didn't look great. Their secondary was questionable. I mean, receivers were getting open, especially late in the game, but Caleb Williams was just missing those throws. So I know the Vikings are going to be able to stop the run, which is a huge concern for me, but the Vikings secondary, I think, can be a little bit exploited in this game potentially.
Yeah, it was, not to harp on Monday Night Football, but it was a weird game where in the first half, we're all like, Caleb started 10 for 10 and we're all crowning him and Ben Johnson. And then by the end of the game, it's the absolute other side, a real tale of two halves in that one. For the folks at home, if you are looking for a sports book to bet Falcons Vikings, look no further than FanDuel, where you can turn $5 in a new customer bet into $300 in bonus bets. All you need to do is sign up. Place your first wager of any type for $5. Young Wei Koo under half a field goal, for example. And you can claim $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Simple. So get signed up today. I'll drop a link down below in the description. Correctly hit that first bet, and you get a cool $300 in bonus bets. All right, Ian, let's wrap it up here with your best bet for this thing. We're sitting here early in the week. The Vikings are 4.5-point home faves at FanDuel. The total, 45.5. Either side of that, minus 110. To the best of your abilities as an unbiased participant, what are you betting here?
Listen, credit to me. I'm the most unbiased sports fan that you'll ever find. With that being said, my upset pick of the week is the Atlanta Falcons to win outright in this game. So you can keep your points. I don't care. I'll take the money line. Listen, I bet the Buccaneers to win and cover this past week. So, once again, credit to me for being unbiased. I don't care. I'll put my biases aside. This is still crazy to me that this Vikings team is this big of a favorite against the Falcons. Like, once again, JJ McCarthy has played 4 quarters of NFL football. He's back in prime time against the Falcons team, which I think is better than the Bears. And he played 1.5 good quarters, and now we're laying, 4.5, 5 points now on the Vikings? That's great. Now, the Falcons have some issues, and they have some health issues. Hopefully Drake London is back healthy. Hopefully we can get Darnell Mooney back soon. That hurts at receiver. But still, Michael Penix has more NFL experience than JJ McCarthy. The running backs, electric, obviously, in the Falcons' favor. And I did overall like what I saw from the Falcons' defense this past week, too. Jimmy Lake was a real problem for the Falcons' defense last season, their defensive coordinator. He's gone. Jeff Ulbrich is in. They spent 2 first-round draft picks on pass rushers. They have Leonard Floyd. They have some decent guys in the secondary. I know depth is an issue, but when I'm comparing these two teams, I just don't see the Vikings being this big of a favorite against the Falcons. I think these teams are a lot closer than the betting market is giving them credit for. So yeah, should the Vikings be favored? Sure. But I think it should be a significantly closer than what it is. So I'm going to take a shot on the Falcons winning outright. And I hope and pray that JJ McCarthy has a bad start, because if he torches us, I might have to get offline for a couple days.